What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Sunday morning edition of The Squeeze. I am your host, Tyler Conium. A little addition to the videos is the ticker across the bottom here. So you can see our weekly record, our yearly record, and then broken down per sport. I felt like that would be a nice addition to give everybody an idea of how we're doing here on The Squeeze. Not very good last night. We've been on a hot streak. We were up 12 units on the year. It came crashing down last night, 0-3 here on The Squeeze, down 3.18 units. Man, it was just, couldn't catch a break. Obviously, the Chargers and the Jaguars, we were -2 on the Chargers. We all know what happened there. I was rooting for the Jaguars. I did actually miss the end of the game because I fell asleep, but we lost that bet in fascinating fashion as the Jaguars beat the Chargers. So 0-1 there. George Kittle, I had a few props on him. He didn't get the yardage one, which was the one I promoted here. And I don't do well in player props in the NFL. The whole season, I don't know. I think the books are just really good at it. I'm not sure. I don't really enjoy it. I'm going to stay away from the player props till maybe the Super Bowl just to have some fun. And then Philadelphia and Utah. Philly won the game, but only by 1. I had it by 4.5. So it's been a very, very good year to date. And at some point, it was going to come crashing down a little bit. So an 0-3 night, but we're back here. We're back on Wildcard Sunday. And a few interesting things today. I've got the Bills jersey on. So a few things to get to. It's going to be a less than traditional version today because of the different things. I mentioned yesterday the moneyline parlay, the 49ers, the Bills, and the Bengals. I didn't make it official, but I did suggest to do it. I said I was going to do it. I'm just going to go ahead and make it an official bet today. So if you followed and you had this parlay, we're already halfway into it because we had the 49ers yesterday. We've got the Bills and the Bengals. So if the Bills win at 1 o'clock, we just have the Bengals on the money line for a full unit win back, and we might play off that with the Ravens. So couple options. You can either bet the Ravens money line because that's at plus 400. So you could lay a quarter unit to win a unit back, which means you would break even if the Ravens were to win that game. What I think I'm going to do, though, is maybe buy some points, get the Ravens like plus 10, plus 14, take that so the Bengals still win, but the Ravens don't lose by as much, and we cover both bets. If the Ravens were to win, then we win that bet and we're good. We break even, but we could win both bets. So I think that's sort of the interesting play to do there. That is what I would recommend you do. And I've got a quick NHL parlay. We're kind of all over the place here. I do apologize. But the last one is something that is a very interesting thing that I've jumped on board with that I would like to talk about. And so we'll start with the NHL parlay. I've got the Carolina Hurricanes and the Winnipeg Jets on a moneyline parlay for -114. That's at North Star. Coyotes are in Winnipeg tonight. Coyotes are 13-24, 6-18 on the road. Not good. Winnipeg is 28-14 on this season, and they're 16-6 at home. So that is good. When you look at the recent trends, Coyotes are 2-12 the last 14 times they've played in Winnipeg. They're 6-20 in their last 26 meetings overall. Jets are 5-0 in their last 5 after allowing 2 goals or less in their previous game. And Arizona is 0-4 in their last 4 games in the fourth of a 4-6 game situation. So that's an interesting statistic there. I think the Jets are just the better hockey team. Last time out, Arizona, who played last night, they lost 2-1 to Minnesota. Jets haven't played in a couple nights, so are employing the back-to-back strategy. Hellebuck is just a better goalie too. So I liked Winnipeg Jets there. And then we've got the Vancouver Canucks at the Carolina Hurricanes. Vancouver 17-22 on the year, 9-12 away from home. Carolina's been great this year. They're 27-9 and 13-5 at home. So I like that. Obviously, when you look at Carolina recently, they're 17-5 in their last 22 overall games. They're 38-14 in their last 52 home games dating back to last season. Vancouver is 0-5 in the last 5 meetings in Carolina, 2-6 in the last 8 overall, and the home team is 20-7 the last 27 times these two teams have met. So I'm just going to keep it a little bit simple here. Vancouver at Carolina and Winnipeg. So Carolina money line, Winnipeg money line, -114 at North Star, paying the juice there. Keeping that simple because the other bets are a little bit complicated. Now, the last one I want to talk about, can't pretend that I thought of this. This comes from Matt Peralt of Just the Picks and the Bostonian versus the Book. Great show, by the way, both of those if you're interested in more sports betting content. Interesting strategy here. This is what we're going to do. This applies if you're in Ontario at the Score Bet. It's one of the few books here that will let you do exactas. And if you're in the United States, I'm sorry I can't help you there. I think Circus Sports does it, maybe some offshore books. But if you're in Ontario, which most people that listen to this are, at the score bet, you can pick an exacta, which means the exact outcome of the Super Bowl. So the New York Giants play the Minnesota Vikings today. Giants are obviously underdogs to win the Super Bowl, no doubt about it. If you take the Giants to beat the Chiefs, the Giants to beat the Bills, or the Giants to beat the Bengals, you take all three of those in the Super Bowl. Here's why, right? So Giants versus the Chiefs. Giants to beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl is plus 25,000. Giants to beat the Bills in the Super Bowl is plus 35,000. And the Giants to beat the Bengals in the Super Bowl is plus 50,000, right? So I'm taking one unit, I'm splitting it up three ways, and I'm making all three of those bets. Those are obviously the three most likely options in the AFC to go to the Super Bowl, and I've got the Giants to beat every single one of them. Now you play off of that, and I've got the Minnesota Vikings on the money line, minus 150, to win one unit back. Now, worst case scenario is the Minnesota Vikings win this football game. We get our unit back. It pays for all the other bets, and we're all good. Maybe we try it again next week with a different team, but we go from there. The Giants win this football game. All three of those bets are live. Plus 25,000, plus 35,000, plus 50,000. We're down 1.5 units, but we come back next week and do the same thing. You could bet against the Giants every single week and still come out way ahead. So, like, if they were to beat the Bengals, let's say the Giants did beat the Bengals in the Super Bowl, it's a 166 unit win. It's a ton. Even worst case, the Chiefs, you're looking at an 83 unit win. It pays for your whole year, right? And you just keep playing off of that. So obviously if the Giants end up playing one of those three teams in the Super Bowl by some miracle, you just hedge against that, and you're looking at least, a 50 unit win day. So very interesting strategy. I like this a lot. This is the benefit of doing futures. So I take the Giants to beat the Chiefs plus 25,000 for a third of a unit, Giants to beat the Bills at plus 35,000 for a third of a unit, and the Giants to beat the Bengals at plus 50,000 for a third of a unit. And then I'm taking the Minnesota Vikings on the money line minus 150. We are sweat free for that game. And then again, we will play around with Cincinnati and Baltimore if the Bills win tonight. So to run back down the card, I like again, we've got the parlay of the 49ers, the Bills, and the Bengals. Follow me on Twitter to see what we do with the Ravens. I like the Carolina Hurricanes and the Winnipeg Jets on a money line parlay. And then we've got our futures bet with the New York Giants and then the Minnesota Vikings on the money line minus 150. If you have any questions, obviously follow me on Twitter for that. Drop a comment if you're fading or following, and audio versions available on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. Let's have a great Sunday. Let's get back in the win column. We got some fun, interesting things here for a Sunday. Let's talk sports.